Have you ever stood in a place so old, so heavy with history, that you swore someone was watching you? Imagine walking the quiet halls of the Tower of London at night, hearing the faint rustle of a gown behind you, only to turn and find no one there. What if England's most infamous queen never truly left the tower where she lost her head? Tonight, we revisit the haunting story of Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, crowned Queen of England in 1533. Born around 1501, and was brilliant, charismatic, and bold enough to change the course of English history. But her love story ended in tragedy. On May 19, 1536, she was executed inside the Tower of London on charges of treason, adultery, and witchcraft. Charges most historians now agree were fabricated. And ever since that morning, when her head fell to the straw, visitors and guards have claimed that Anne Boleyn has been walking the tower's grounds, still searching for peace. Picture the Tower of London on a cold night. The stones glisten with damp, centuries of footsteps worn into their surface. The air smells of iron and rain. Somewhere far off, a raven cries, a sound that seemed to echo through time itself. This is where Anne spent her final days, locked away in the Queen's house. Imagine her pacing those rooms, knowing she had only hours to live, hearing the distant hammering as the scaffold was built. The walls feel close, the silence crushing, and then nothing, until night fell again and the sightings began. The earliest reports of Anne's ghost come from yeoman warders, the beefeaters who guard the tower. They spoke of a woman dressed all in white, gliding along the corridors near the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, where Anne is buried. Some said she carried her head tucked under one arm, her face pale, her expression calm. Others describe hearing faint weeping near the Queen's house, as if a woman were mourning a life cut short. Dogs reportedly growl at empty doorways. One guard fainted after claiming he saw Anne's figure kneeling in the chapel at midnight, her lips moving as though she were praying. But Anne's spirit isn't said to haunt the tower alone. Her ghost has been seen at Hever Castle, her childhood home, a place of roses and quiet gardens, where visitors have spotted her walking along the bridge, pausing to gaze into the water. She has been spotted at Blickling Hall in Norfolk as well. On the anniversary of her execution, legend says a ghostly carriage drawn by headless horses races up to the hall and steps down, dressed in white, her head cradled in her hands, and walks slowly into the house, vanishing before sunrise. Imagine being there on a night like that. The sky dark, the wind cold enough to sting. Then the sound of hooves, faint at first, then thundering, and a black carriage rolling out of the mist. The horses headless, the driver silent. Your breath catches, your heart pounds, and then you see her, Anne Boleyn, stepping out with eerie grace, as if the centuries between you mean nothing at all. Why would Anne still be here after nearly 500 years? Some say it is because she died unjustly, her soul trapped by the violence of her end. Others believe she returns not out of anger, but out of love for her daughter Elizabeth, who would grow up to be Queen Elizabeth I. Maybe Anne comes back to walk the halls where her daughter never saw her. Maybe she kneels in the chapel not to mourn, but to watch over the place where her body lies, making sure history never forgets her name. There is something unsettling about Anne's story. It reminds us that power, beauty, and brilliance can still fall to cruelty, that history can be written in blood. Her ghost is not just a figure in white. It is a reminder of fate, of injustice that refuses to stay silent. Every time someone sees her, it is as if the past is saying, "Look, remember me. Remember what happened here." And maybe that is why Anne still walks. Not because she cannot rest, but because we are not meant to forget. Close your eyes. Picture Anne on that May morning, stepping onto the scaffold with dignity. The crowd hushed, the air heavy, the sound of her last words carried on the wind. Then the flash of steel, the silence, the soft thud on straw. And now, 5 centuries later, she still walks. Not screaming, not raging, just walking. A queen without a crown, her head in her hands, reminding the world that even in death, she still holds her story. Anne Boleyn's ghost may never be proven, but her presence is felt in every stone of the tower. She is England's most haunted queen, not because she terrifies us, but because she moves us. Her story is one of love, betrayal, and quiet strength that refused to die with her body. Perhaps that is why she is still here, because her spirit has more to say. Because every time someone glimpses her in the dark, they are reminded of a woman who changed history and paid the price. If this story gave you chills or made you see Anne Boleyn in a new light, hit that like button. Share this with someone who loves royal history and ghost stories. And tell me in the comments, if you could ask in one question, what would it be? Subscribe for more haunting legends from history. Until next time, keep watching the shadows, because sometimes the past still walks beside us.